One of the most fascinating things about watching women on dating shows is they're at war with their intuition. So more people need to be like Hannah and write it all down. You're gonna see the way you lie to yourself. Because holy crap, y'all. Make a list. Cecilia Regina talked about this in a video recently. Make a list of track what they're doing. Because you will forget in the most critical moments. Oh, I forgot that he doesn't, pay his bills, and that, he was flirting with other women. And, right, he lied about this and that and that and that and that. Because you just be like, but I love him. The way we will talk ourselves into the worst. We're going to take a peek back at the ways that Hannah, knew that Nick was trash. She's always known. And I think part of this that she just kept going with is because, you kind of have to go all in. You go literally from to being engaged. And also, if you want to actually have the social media, whatever that you're going to get out of this, the more airtime, the more famous you are. Now, I'm not saying she came on this show to be famous, but everybody knows that if you go on the show, your Instagram account's going to go, right? And that you have other opportunities you would never have otherwise. The men and the women, they're all going on the show partly. That's part of it. This is not season 1. This is season 7. The way that we watch Hannah in real time do what all of us do. He's the greatest person ever. I think he loves me, la 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 la. And then being I know he's gonna break my heart. Here she's I don't want him to ever break my heart. And in the same breath or the same day, wearing the same outfit, he's sultry. She was oh my God, but he's such a smooth talker that he will probably ruin my life. Now, at first I thought I would really not like Hannah because anybody who says something like this, I quit my job, that's how serious I am about finding love. I'm already pick me. You're 26. But she's actually one of my favorite in the end. And she is getting dragged for being such a bitch and all this stuff. But honestly, yeah, maybe she was a little mean sometimes. But Nick deserved most of that. And I really think that she showed a lot of women how they should be dating. Taking notes. Tracking his action versus his words. So we're going to get into some examples. So right out of the gate, she knew this man was a bad idea. But her only options were this guy, Nick D, or this guy, the fake art dealer who pretended to be rich. But have you seen him taking videos from his place, by the way? Y'all, the internet was calling out this guy because he's talking about being has just more money than God. Bro, you have I'm sorry. There is no, what, people were who is this, who is millionaire, who has a microwave sitting on top of their refrigerator? He was talking about, hey, if you have artwork and you have a lot of holes all over your wall from all your artwork, your, expensive, then here, use some, I'm so, y'all, the way that men lie, they think we're all so dumb. There's no way this man has this much money and dresses this bad. So these were her choices. I don't know how, this is why I was God, this girl's gonna drive me crazy. I was she chose of all people, this guy and the other guy. This guy. But now that we see all the other guys, I'm all of them suck. They all equally suck, just for different reasons. Somebody who goes on the show and says, you go to college, you get your dream job. And I had my dream job and I made a lot of money. And I want to find love so bad and my job wouldn't let me. I actually had to quit my job to be here. I want to see more of her. I love this look. She's oh my God, really? So again, I thought I was gonna not like Hannah at all because anybody who quits their job to do this and then chooses two awful dudes is and then you think you love both of them. But at the same time, I love that we see and again, we don't know any of these people. They could all be acting. They could all be full of crap, be totally different people than they are showing us, or the producers and editors could be just cut, right? Some sleep little baby. Yeah, little moment. But I just love how we see in real time the way women talk to ourselves. It's like our social conditioning and any like daddy issues or mom issues, because it's not just dad who gives you these issues. They show up in romantic relationships because your mom or whatever, non-binary parent, any parental figure can give you issues in your romantic, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever, you'll know what I'm saying. But whether it's social conditioning or attachment stuff or trauma or just whatever, all these loud voices that, you know, have like a bullhorn and went to Harvard Law. And then we have our quiet little intuition that's like, I don't know, like this guy seems like a loser. This guy, blah, 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 blah. You know, like every time she fires off one of these one-liners that is just like, that's her intuition. And all this other nonsense is like her social conditioning and any her issues that she has just in relationships. Maybe it's some codependency, who knows? And so watching this play out, it's like witnessing IFS. It's like she got Hannah who's like, oh my God, I love you. And then she's like, oh my God, he's going to ruin my life. It's always like, and one of the most frustrating things is that not only did her intuition know, all the other women too, that they all knew that Nick was bad. He's not a bad guy. I mean, because there's no good or bad, but he is on the spectrum of male entitlement and selfishness and the king baby spectrum. He's like way over here. He got a lot of work to do. Look at him just watching me. Oh my God, look, he's falling asleep. Ugh. So, you know, she had her date. So like, this was, again, there's so many conversations that are, there's like, it's like foreshadowing. So Marissa's like, are you in love? And she's laughing, right? Because she knows that she's not in love, but she might be like talking her. She's in limerence. And then up Katie. Katie's gonna get her own video. Because Katie, I was like, yeah, everybody needs a Katie until the last episode. Katie, you know, you are far over here on the codependency pick-me spectrum that women indoctrinated in patriarchy are under. We're all on it somewhere, and you have a lot of work to do. But you're gonna get your own video. Life is easier on this side. That's what Katie said. And then she tried to take her man. You know, why are either of you going for this loser? Then Hannah's like, I think he's deeper than what people think he is. You don't believe that. Oh my God, my dog is just watching this whole video. Just so smooth. Marissa's like, I hate more than anything that she's getting so screwed on this show. I really like their friendship though. I like a lot of the friendships between the women. I love. Except you, Katie. Katie, you're not a girl's girl. Hannah says this, I think he's the love of my life. And you always need somebody like this. Marissa, who holds a microphone to your intuition. Okay? Because your ego is going to be like blah, 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 blah. So you got to hold the microphone. You got to hold the microphone with your voice to say it, Marissa. Hannah, you're not in love with that man. He's not the love of your life. Come on. I don't know. I think he loves me. You didn't hear our conversation. I don't think I need to. Sorry, I'm going to put that down for a while. And then she's left with her thoughts because, you know, the thing is you always need women in your life or people. It doesn't have to be women, but it tends to be somebody who doesn't want to date you, doesn't want to screw you, and who also knows you very well and wants what's best for you. And also doesn't have a whole bunch of their own issues and have like really unhealthy relationships. Those people are going to hold a microphone to your intuition, which is what Marissa's doing. What a lot of these women are doing. It's hard to hear. You're going to be like, but I love you. She had this is only the conversations that we saw. She had so many conversations with all the other women about how he was not good for her. Do I want to marry someone who's naturally flirtatious? Like so flirtatious that all the women thought he was super hot and he was, you know, Mr. Suave or whatever, because he was like so, like, he sounded like a player. And, you know, all of them were just like, no. And she's like, probably not. And then she said all this. Okay, first of all, we know that she lied about her looks because she gave away, you know, she projected this image of, you know, being just Taylor Swift and all these other things. He lied too. So in my mind, they are at the same in terms of deceiving each other in terms of look, but everything else, you know, she's been pretty genuine from the beginning. She changed to going from like the fun girl in the pause to like this big old bird because she was dealing with a king baby. And that's what I tell you all the time. These men will you will be this going into the relationship and this coming out of it. They will turn you into the worst versions of yourself. When you are dating somebody and you are not glowing up and you are not becoming a healthier, better version of yourself, you are becoming a worse version. And if there's anything that and it takes so long to forgive yourself for becoming the worst version of yourself. And that is seriously the hardest thing to get over. I could not believe how I could abandon my moral code, how I could just self-abandon and literally put everything that was important to me on the back burner for a literal hobo. Rode the rails for 9 years, caught him eating dog food, literally like the biggest loser. I did not even know who I was anymore. And I was with him for less than a year. So if there is a man that it doesn't mean that being in a relationship isn't going to trigger you a lot of time. Especially, I constantly get triggered by my husband for things that have nothing to do with him because of the abuse of other men. And so I project. But in general, this man does not make me crazy at all. I don't ever feel insecure. I don't ever feel jealous. Whatever, I could go on and on. But the breadcrumb guy, all the men before him, I did not feel safe and secure and confident because I knew, and partly because they never did anything to make me feel confident. Men love to weaponize our anxiety, our trauma, our daddy issues to keep us in a position of less power. A man will bring out the best in you or the worst in you every time. And if he's bringing out the worst in you, doesn't mean that you're not going to feel vulnerable and have to work through all of your stuff with somebody. But if you literally don't even recognize yourself anymore and your confidence is plummeting and you're anxious all the time and all of a sudden you're pining after this dude when you are not the kind of person that you would ever imagine, it's probably not you, it's him. That doesn't mean that this isn't a you problem. This means that you, for whatever reason, are going after a dude who hates you or who is purposely breadcrumbing you. But sorry, the microphone always talks to me. It goes, goodbye. Men will literally weaponize all of your issues and attachment styles to keep you on edge because whoever needs the least in a relationship has the most power. Whoever needs the most is always at the disadvantage. And so men, even if they know that you are a baddie and they will put you in a place where you're constantly worried they're going to leave you to have the upper hand. It is about power with so many men. So we know based on what Hannah told Nick in the pods that she has some insecurity around her weight and her weight issues that she's had. If you've seen her new photo, she has lost a ton of weight. I think she was taking that, what is that, Ozint, whatever it's called, thing that's supposed to be meant for diabetes, making it hard for people with diabetes to get this medication. All these rich people keep using it to lose weight. Or that's my understanding. I don't know, I could be wrong. But anyway, she's dropped a lot of weight. Looks very different now. She looks great, but I think she's doing lip fillers and stuff. I don't know, whatever. She's changed her style. She's, I don't know. She's like an influencer now. She does what all these women do. All these women go on the show and then they end up I think they know that they have a year to whatever. I don't know how it goes. Women, we want our exes to want us back. Or they know that they have this social media stuff that everyone's going to be going to their Instagram immediately and seeing them. So they need a track record of looking amazing. So women, all of them end up doing this. I swear to God. At the same time, this is the nature of the industry. So I can't really judge them for doing it because this is the world. This is Hollywood. So after all this, the stuff that she says about this, I'm like, girl, are you even listening to yourself? Are you writing this down? I know you made a little bullet points with 10 things wrong with Nick, but did you not write this thing down? Because look, she's going to say, someone was Nina was like, how are you still talking to him? Because he's charming. Yeah. All of them are yeah, he's a charming man. So he's hard for me to figure out because he says these things and I don't believe him. There's this time before she even meets him, she's going to say all the things that are going to end up being the problem. Why does she intuitively feel like she can't believe? Because she feels like he's just saying whatever she wants to hear. And he is not an action man. He is a talking man. Blah, blah, blah. He's like Ramses. Ramses is like, oh, liberation for people, anti-capitalism, except for you, Marissa. I want to exploit the crap out of your labor and knock you up because I don't want to wear a condom. The audacity of all these men. God, I just don't know why. I don't believe him. I feel like it's a gut feeling. Yeah, that's what that is. That's what that is. And then, this is what makes me so mad about Katie, is Katie was all like, yeah, like all behind her, because Katie dumped him. Why in the world? You went back, Katie? Whatever. Okay, don't get ahead of myself. That's the other video. Say Katie in the comments if you got this far and you want that video, because there's so many videos I gotta make. I don't have time to make them all. I don't even know if this deserves a video, but I really don't like what she did. The way he talks, you can tell that he's very experienced with women. Which is so funny because this dude is he's experienced with hooking up with women, but he has no experience having a relationship with women. That's why they all call him, Nick Suave or whatever. Because he doesn't know how to talk to women that he actually wants to date. He just knows how to just be full of crap. And they sniffed it out immediately, all of them. He knows what to say and how to say it. And it's scary that it might be manipulative. Not manipulative. It is. I'm not trying to make fun of her. I say a lot too. But the way we minimize the language, instead of, I think it might be manipulative. We'll just throw that in there just to kind of soften it. That's exactly what it is. It's gaslighting, it's manipulative, it's lying. I think he wants a trophy wife. Why would you ever date somebody who wants a trophy wife? Especially if you have all kinds of insecurities around your weight and stuff. Definitely objectifies me. He said, I can't wait to see you in a bikini. I don't even think we heard all the things he said, but she definitely got the sense from him that he is very, even the questions, he was the one who was talking about how he looks like, Travis Kelce, whatever his name is. Don't care. The man who looks like a cop now dating Taylor Swift. Boo! If I was 250 pounds and maybe not a supermodel, I know he wouldn't. So she's saying, he wants a trophy wife, and if I weigh too much, he'll want nothing to do with. Why would you ever want to marry somebody you don't believe? All the things she said, okay? We should write it all down, but I just don't have time right now. He's someone I think that I would not want to go to sleep without makeup on. Y'all, for anybody who is new to dating here, maybe if you're younger or you're a late bloomer like I was, I had no idea that married people see the most disgusting things, especially if you're going to have a child. If you are using the bathroom in the hotel lobby on vacation with your boyfriend, either that's a you problem and you are so insecure and you're hiding yourself and you're setting yourself up it's bad. You are literally dehumanizing yourself. I don't ever poop, right? But if you're doing it because you sense that he's the kind of man who would never buy you tampon, who doesn't want to have period schmecks maybe, the kind of man who you have to do your hair and fall asleep in makeup because you don't think that he would be attracted to you without makeup. Please do not stay with a man that you think this about, because especially if you want children, you know that you're gonna take a big old dump when you have a kid. From my understanding, you're gonna crap all over that table. He is gonna see liquids and oh, look, you're getting in your car. I love it when he just sticks his head out. This is literally please get away from this kind of thinking. I even wrote an article about this for Glam. In the very beginning, I farted on Anthony. I fell asleep. We were watching TV. I fell asleep with him and I farted and I woke up and I was like, oh, and he was laughing. I was like, oops, and he was like, no, that means you're comfortable. I love that. I'm not going to go fart in his face all the time. I don't want to kill the romance. But also I am not going to pretend like I am not a human being. No woman should be doing this. Pretending like you are not a human, dehumanizing yourself. Honestly, that was what I realized later on was that I need to be my full self right out of the gate, because if I scare somebody right out of the gate, that's a good thing. And one of my closest friends here in France, I introduced him to my friends right away because I wanted their opinion. And my one friend was like, oh my God, That's it. I was like, what? She was like, I have never seen you so comfortable around somebody. There was no, like with, breadcrumb guy, you were on edge. You could tell you're so relaxed in front of him. You're dorky, silly voice, hyper, ADHD, blah, self around him, but you're not performing. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I wasn't like, I was like, so it was like my heart, I was like not nervous. And she was like, yeah. And he adores all of that. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's a green flag, huh? Listen to your friends, the friends who are healthy and who want what's best for you. So if you say this and someone says, that sounds like a walking red flag, listen. Here's all this. And then she goes, yeah, he's a charmer. Just watch me go in there and say, I love him. And all of them, like all of the women were like, you're gonna cut him loose at some point, right? Like, I know this is all fun and games, but like the more you invest in men like this, the more you lose and the harder it is to leave. Like, we all know that, right? So they're all like, okay, haha, it's all fun to talk about, but like you're gonna like, right? I just don't want to cut him off yet. I don't know. You do know. All the women were like, you know what you gotta do. And what did she do? She broke up with him and then reverso and then went with this loser until she realized that Brittany she's gonna have to fight with Brittany over him. She went back to this loser. Maybe she did this so she could get more airtime because, we don't know who any of these other people are who didn't make it on the honeymoon, more or less. Some people on there that we didn't see them have a single conversation. So she could have just gone with this so that she could, have her moment on TV. But I don't know. Was it worth it? Because you have all these women calling her a big old burn. I will not be that person. I think she is teaching women a lot. Is she a little too harsh sometimes? Sure. And admitted that. Let me give you some more examples of the time she said things out loud that she wasn't even listening to herself. Thank God she at least had her list to remind her, which is, again, you need to make a list of things. There's red flags and there's pink flags and then there's green flags that could also turn into red flags because, oh, he cooked for me and he's like really nourishing. Yeah, so was my abusive ex in the beginning. That reversed course as soon as he got me, hypnotized. There's things to keep an eye on because none of us are perfect. Okay, I had a lot of glaring pink flags myself. I had some pink flags that almost turned into red flags because my old trauma responses were like, fuck this guy. I'm going to go fuck a bunch of other dudes because I was feeling insecure and vulnerable. But luckily, I had enough healing and nervous system regulation experience and good friends to hold that microphone to my intuition who were like, whoa, Melanie, what are you doing? What's happening here? And I'm just like, ah! They're like, hold on. That's not true. I told the story before, maybe I'll tell it again, about when he went to Paris and I convinced myself he was cheating, even though we weren't even technically committed. And so I made 4 dates while he was gone, 4 nights in a row to four beautiful strangers, different strangers. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to be the one who gets cheated on again. I'll be damned if I'm the one who gets abandoned first. I'm going to abandon you first. And then my friends were like, what are you doing? And so then I was like, oh, wait. And I worked on it myself. Oh, I'm not, there are red flags, like doesn't respect boundaries. There's a lot of red, and then there's things that you're like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on this. Because this sounds like it could be this. And you make your list. And there's some things, for instance, Anthony didn't have a lot of friends, male friends especially, when I first met him, because he worked in gastronomy, so he worked all the time, and he had, moved back from Australia, and it's really hard to make friends in your 30s when you move to a city. But anyway, I didn't think he was doing enough, so I said in one of our conversations, like, hey, I wrote a viral article about this. This is important, and I don't see myself being I don't see a long-term relationship with someone who doesn't have friends, because it is going to impact me and us too much. It's very important to me. Woo! That was noted. Started 2 men's groups within a year, but one of them within a month or so. I've had to work on a lot of stuff myself so that I don't cause harm in the relationship because of all the men who've harmed me and me punishing him for that. So I just want to say all that because I think it's really important. We can easily just be like, red flag, red flag, and some things are not actually red flags. They're like imperfect human being things. And then there's red flags, right? And to me, a man who is obsessed with look, all the other girls have a really bad feeling, and who my gut is being screaming this is not right, and I don't feel safe going to bed without makeup around this man. That's not even a red flag about him. That's your own red flag, right? Something about this man makes me feel not safe. Some red flag. I would say this is a red flag. If you haven't seen this show, it is like not even worth going into much. But she's talking about this incident where she felt very disrespected. It all started because he wanted to go ride these dumb ducks. And she's like, oh, that's going to give me the ick. God, don't do that. The reason was a little weird. A man writing things makes me uncomfortable. That sounds like a little bit of like in homophobia, maybe. Like some weird gender stuff that you like that's weird, Hannah. Okay, so I don't think there's anything wrong with him going and riding that duck. He's like, but if you ride it, it's hot. She's like, yeah. Anyway, he goes and rides the duck, but he also does it with this random woman who comes up to him. This woman who literally starts making fun of Hannah, being like, oh, she's jealous. Don't be jealous. And look at him. He's like, ha 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 ha. He laughs at her joke. Now, to me, that is a red flag. A man who will let someone else, whether it's a man or some random lady in a bathing suit who is coming up and flirting with you, make fun of me. Any man who is not like, no, she's not jealous. You know what I mean? Like, that shows a man who's a coward. This man's a coward. He's a coward because, like, even if men were probably talking crap about Hannah, he'd probably be like, ha 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 ha. Do you know how many men try to talk crap about me to my husband in very subtle ways? Especially if they find out what I do for a living, they're like, oh, patriarchy. She talks about patriarchy. He's like, yeah, she does. And I'm really proud of her. It's a really big deal. It's important. We should all care about it. And they're like, oh, they're like so shocked that a man will not let someone else, a perfect stranger, form an alliance with him over the hatred of his own wife. But so many men do that. So many men do that. Anthony loves making them feel really uncomfortable when they think that there's this understood agreement that we're going to make fun of a woman you love, and that he's okay with it. He's always like, no. He loves to sit, like, watch them be like, or he'll be like, what is that supposed to mean? Making them explain it. Anyway, so it's not about him riding, like the duck thing, Hannah, get over it. But that would bother me. He's making fun, like laughing at her joke. She didn't call, as far as I know, Hannah a B, which Hannah said. I think she was exaggerating. She was, making fun of her. And he's just like, ha, gives her a high five, whatever. They're buddies now. Knowing this would probably piss off Hannah. And I think a lot of times men are testing you. They're testing you to see how far you will let them go. Even though she called it out and basically was like, that's not cool. In the end, he still didn't care because he ended up flirting with Katie. But again, that's another video. Katie! I'm not jealous, but like, so she says he cannot be trusted. She already knew that before they got married. He cannot be trusted. She's known this all along. Nick says to her at one point, you're more emotionally intelligent than I am. You're way smarter, more beautiful, but I think you were just jealous. The thing is that this man, in this case and later on, accuses her of it being her problem that she's jealous. Now, if she was jealous for no reason or insecure about that interaction for no reason, okay. But this man loves to go and flirt, has no intention of not ever being a flirt, and then says that's a you problem, that I'm doing this thing and you don't like it. That's a you problem. He's like, I can't be myself around you. And by myself, I mean a flirt with everyone. He's probably, watching and probably liking women's things on Instagram. In fact, they actually predicted this. Because after she tried to break up with him the first time before went back and said, never mind. She even said, I think he's going to go home today. And, the first thing he's going to do, look us all up on Instagram. They all know that's what he's going to be. Now, little did they know Steven was going to do that literally on the show while engaged to Monica. They all are like, yep, he's got news on his phone. And it's her problem. It's her problem that he won't, that she's making him not be who he is. Men are setting you up with this to cheat. This same way Steven set up Monica by being like, hey, out of nowhere, was like, hey, you know what? One of the silly mistakes I did was cheating. If you call it that. I mean, what is cheating? Talking to someone, looking at somebody, messaging them. Like, what is cheating really? And the way Monica handled it was like, oh, wow, you're so brave for telling me, basically. And like, oh, wow, like, wow, that's so great that you really learned. And yeah, and he's like, and being too hard on yourself. And then he did the exact same thing to her. So the men are setting you up when they're like, you won't let me be myself by literally just, flirting with my whenever I want, right in front of your face for 45 minutes with Katie. Like, he basically is just like, get used to it, honey. This is who I am. And I love that her friends called him out on that later. That's another video. So when she calls him out for not respecting her and, flirting with that lady, basically laughing at her, how do I not respect you? Well, a woman is talking shit and you're just sitting there giggling. Do you know how that would make me feel bad? You do get jealous. It's like irrelevant. The whole conversation was so maddening because she was like, see, like, I love you so much. Like, these are all the things that, like, I really upset me that you do, but I love you so much. I see the world in you, because she just loves his potential. And I've already talked about that in the last video. And for me, trust and respect is a big thing. And look at his response. It hurts me that you think I was disrespecting you. It hurts me that you think I was doing the very thing I was doing. It was like so pointless and meaningless. This is a you problem, girl. And then she's like, to you? You can't like disregard my feelings. My feelings are my feelings. She even says this at one point. I can be like mean around you and I love you so much. She is a little mean. Everything she said is true. Again, everything that she calls him out on is legitimate. So why people think she's such a march when she basically is like, you lied about cooking, you lied about your love. I mean, I lied about my love. You, don't ever say this to a man, by the way. You're always on my mind. The only thing I care about. Do not ever tell this to men, even if it's true. Then they say, upper hand, yes. He's like, really? She's like, of course. When he asked about her list, and like she had like, I think I'm going to do another video about all the points on her list and how they all came true. But like, one of the points was like, you delusional. Delulu. I think I'm delusional? Yeah. In fact, I like this little list. I really think more women should be making lists. And like she said, actions speak louder than words. You understand where that came from? This is literally like a teacher and a student, or a mommy and a child. Yeah, but it goes both ways. It does go both ways, exactly. If I say something, I'm going to do it, right? And I hope you do the same, of course. Social awareness was one of the things on her list. Can you read the room? When somebody's saying a rude comment to me and you're giggling and touching her, why would you do that? With a random woman calling me out for being jealous. You're giggling, you touch her. I touched over her. I didn't grab her room, so like everything you say is invalid. Yeah, but I felt it disrespect. I'm supposed to be this person you love and this person you care about, right? Hi, Timmy. You're sitting there with this one random woman giggling about me. Like, if you have to look at your partner like this all the time and talk to him like to explain things like a teacher all the time, this man is going to ruin your life. We're going to get married, right? I have concerns for our relationship. They're all on her list at the very beginning, on their like honeymoon, basically. And these are the things we need to address to make sure we're 100% if we're going to go to the altar. I agree. I'm not the only one delusional. I mean, you know what he's thinking? That she said she looked like Taylor Swift. She spells out in the beginning, basically, or like a few days into their honeymoon, whatever this is. These are the things that are concerning me. There are A, B, C, D, 1 through 10. We need to work on these before I am 100% and then going to the altar and marrying you. And this right here is the perfect example of a man who I'm going to play out like more scenes about all the things later on, but this is more of an overview. This man did exactly what all these husbands do when they go crying on the internet or crying to their friends, like, she blindsided me. It was out of nowhere. She's so heartless. This is why 70% of the divorces are initiated by women, because they do some version of this. These are the things I've been tracking. I see no progress in this. Or like a tiny bit, and then you go back to doing the same crap. And these men will be like, la, 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 yeah, okay, I'll do a little bit. La, 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 la. And then finally, when you have hit your limit, and you're like, I'm done. What? And then he tries to like make her pretend that like this woman is smart. She knew that he would only take it to the very end out of his own self-image, and that he would probably say no to her at the altar. I'm so glad that she did not take that chance. She didn't go get her dress like, fitted or any of that stuff. She called it quits. I love that. She knew this man was not going to change. Her friends held a microphone to her intuition and to all of this, and she was like, I can't. And then he's like, what happened? I was so committed. And he looks like a good guy because he just seems like this. She bullied him. Do you know how many women, even in my comments, and they're usually not women who follow me, but even some people who follow me are like, I don't know, she's a bully. She was so mean. Really? Or was she reacting to his passive violence of promising a lot of things, of gaslighting her, of manipulating her, of lying about what he's going to do, that he can cook, that he's a real estate agent, that he has a pool table, and all these things. And then she finds out it's all a lie. I'm sorry. That sounds like she's reacting. She was all fun and games and fun to be around and everyone in the pods. And then she has to deal with this man, live with this man in a very short period of time. And then what does it bring out in her? A big old bitch. A woman like less strong would have just like bit her tongue and put up with it and gone against her intuition and put on that dress and gone to the altar, and then he would have said no. This man never was going to marry her. This is what men do. They make you look bad. They make you look like a bully. They make you look like mean. And God, how can you be so cruel? So that they don't look bad. Men will do anything to avoid dealing with our anger. They will, like so many men, will quiet quit the relationship so that you have to look like the bad one, like you gave up on it. There's so many men do this. It's such a cowardly move. And we've learned this over social media. Remember a year ago, all those men who literally on Twitter with their first and last name as a big old joke were all the things. Some guy was like, hey, what is like the worst thing you did to do to get a girl to like break up with you? And the mean things these men were doing. They wanted these women to break up with them. They hated these women, but they don't have the means to do it. So you will never convince me that Nick didn't instigate all of it, either A, by letting her look like a villain, or B, never liking her to begin with, and he's just too passive to be, you know, like the hero in his own story. So he just lets her have to do all the things to make this relationship clearly look like it is not a good one. And now he can play the victim. And all these women who are in my comments and some of my mutuals comments are going to swoop in and DM this loser. Oh, she was so mean to you. You didn't deserve that. Like Steven, poor Steven, he went to therapy and talked about cheating. Look how well that worked. She asked him, would you ever get my name tattooed on you? No. Like, I don't think I would get someone's name tattooed on me. The way he was like, oh no, it was such an immediate, visceral, no. You get my name tattooed on you. Yeah, I'm a butt. Also says all this stuff about how, you know, she doesn't need to get work done. Yeah. Wow, what a nice guy. Do you really believe that this is a man who doesn't want to be with a woman who gets work done? Or could this be one of those many men who wants a girl who's naturally beautiful, who doesn't have all that work done, who doesn't have lip injections and doesn't and yet expect all women to look like women who do that? These men don't lie all the time. I want a natural looking girl. Natural women are the most beautiful. And yet this is the very girl who was like, I don't think I could sleep without makeup on my face because I'm pretty sure this is a man who thinks that all women look naturally what they look like with makeup. And then judges women who get work done. Now, Hannah also is lying to herself a bit in terms of she was never attracted to this man. When I first met Nick during the reveal, it was shocking. Built himself in a way that was different than maybe what he is. Imagine a real big guy. Wise, I definitely go for the, really big jockey guy, 6'5", handsome, best looking guy in the room. And as Vivietta, one of my mutuals, said, the only reason why women can't stand Hannah is because she talks like this, but wasn't traditionally beautiful the way that women are, the beauty standard of being like, ridiculously thin and all those things. The fact that she does not have like a supermodel figure, now that, she looks different now. But the fact that she did not fit into, like perfect everything and had the audacity to expect the best looking man in the room. And then she got him and he's like not what he sold himself either. And then she's disappointed. And then she calls him on his, I promise you, if she was, she looked like Taylor or Monica, the kind of women who look like they could be on a like Miss America competition. If she looked like them and was saying all this, women would not be giving her such a hard time. This is our own internalized misogyny here. Today, when I saw Nick, it's a little bit like you have to warm up. Trying to like fall in love with the voice, which came along with the fantasy of what he looked like. He's the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. The double talk that women do to ourselves. But, it is just different than what I expected. This is the man she got. The man who just is so confused why she thinks he's immature. And why she's confused that he looks like this. When she was expecting, the football Travis Kelce looking guy. And the only reason why she did not end up with this man, I believe, is because she was tracking all the things that he said versus what he did. And she had a list. It's, if you're really codependent, that list won't matter. You need more help than that. Believe you me. I had a huge list. I actually had a list. I should bring it out and show y'all some of all the things with that hobo. But I was still too codependent to actually, facts didn't, like my emotions and my trauma responses and my attachment and all that stuff, daddy issues, were way stronger than logic and intuition on the list. But if you're not chronically codependent, take notes. Take a lot of notes. And find the people who call you on your crap and ask for their input on a regular basis. People who love you will not let you lie to yourself. Anyway, let me know what you think. And let me know if you heard the comment song. And follow my Patreon, please. Welcome to the comment song art edition from my friend. I ran into her the other day at this artist fair thingy in my neighborhood. And she was like, "Hey, Melanie." I'm like, "Oh my God, who are you?" I forget. Actually, I forgot. I used to play drums with this amazing woman, but her hair's a different color now. Hadn't seen her since the pandemic started several years ago. And then the group just, stopped. So I hadn't seen her in a long time. And I was like, "Oh my God, you're an artist. Holy cow. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. Isn't she great?" Okay, if you're new here, the comment song is so random. It's random. Look at this. Oh my God, this is so cute. I want this so bad. Anyway, look at that Leah. Kitty cat, Leah. Comment song. Tap some stuff. Tell me what you think about Hannah and all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. If you want to follow her, look at this. This is where you find her amazing artwork. Oh, sorry. Silly sadistic joke. Anyway, let me know if you heard the comment song. And this is my friend's page where you can find all this amazing stuff. Go check her out. And thank you for listening to the comments song. Let me know if you heard this. Bye.